to tell the difference between, what is a goal or an objective, what is a strategy, and then what is a tactic. Because those three can oftentimes get muddled, even for people that do this all the time. It sometimes is a little bit hard to understand, and it's not an exact science. Business and marketing isn't an exact science, so it's hard. But typically, you wouldn't start with a marketing strategy. You would start with your business objective. So, just taking something everyone knows, hotels as an example. Your business objective might be to make more money. Bottom line, we want to make more money. There are a lot of different ways to achieve that goal. So your communication objective or your marketing objective might be to make more money by booking more rooms, or it could be make more money by selling more spa packages. So there are a few different, you can already see there are a few different marketing objectives that can come from that business objective. So once you've decided on your marketing objective, that's where you can decide what strategy you're going to take. And a strategy, to me, is essentially your plan of attack for reaching or achieving your marketing objective. Again, it's important to start with your strategy, figure out who you're targeting, because that's really going to dictate what tactics are available or what tactics you would want to use. Certainly there are, traditional media tactics or media placements like print, radio, television, even, in this day and age, digital banner ads. Those are all kind of traditional media tactics, but really looking at your target and researching what he or she is doing throughout their day can open up a wide variety of non-traditional media tactics. For example, if you're targeting, the more specific you're able to get, the more specific tactics you can find. But if you're targeting that working mom who always stops on the gym at her way home, well, the Alaska Club has digital screens in front of the cardio equipment. So that might be a tactic that comes to you because you've researched your target and have kind of investigated their daily routine and everything that they might see or interact with in that daily routine that you can be a part of. Understanding that starting a business is a lot of work, and you sometimes have limited time and resources available. Again, I think that a website is first and foremost something that you should put your time and energy in making that website user-friendly, have the functionality that you want, look great, have all your messaging on there as kind of that one resource that you can drive people to. But there are tons of digital resources that are very inexpensive when compared to more mass media tactics like television or radio are certainly more expensive than and less targeted than you can be with digital. And again, social is probably the most inexpensive, monetarily inexpensive resource you have at your disposal. It can be a little time consuming, especially at first, to set up that initial, that initial page or that initial strategy. But maintaining those social media pages can be fairly quick. You are going to have to pay a certain amount of attention because it is that two-way communication vehicle, and you want to monitor those conversations that are happening. But the cost of a page itself is free. There are certain add-ons you can make, but those are certainly more inexpensive than they might be in other channels. And again, understanding where your target is and what your objective is can dictate which social media channels you put your attention towards, because there's usually not a need to be everywhere and be everything to everybody. It's really concentrating on your specific target and reaching them. Choosing a name, certainly there's going to be an aspect of just your own personal opinion and the personality that you have, and maybe there's some long backstory about why you're named a certain thing, and that plays a part. But looking towards the future and what's going to be marketable I think especially starting off, if it's something that people aren't familiar with, a name that explains at least a little bit, hints at what you do or what the product is helpful. Another thing to keep in mind is search and Google search. If people are searching for your company or a category, is your product name or your company name, your website, is that going to pop up organically because people are searching for apples and your company is named Apples, and so therefore it's going to show up organically? Or are you going to have to pay for your company to show up in search results? It's kind of the same thing as, back in the day, people were concerned about their name because of where it would show up in the phone book. And so then you get a lot of companies called AAA consulting, and then somebody came out with quadruple A consulting, and it's all about that placement in the phone book. It's the same sort of thing, thinking about Google search and how your name is going to help you come up in search results. Promise of an experience. So, it's not just the way a company or a product or, a brand looks. It's not just the logo or the colors or the font that you use. Certainly that's a part of it, but it's what does your product or service offer to consumers? What are you telling consumers that they're going to get out of their interaction with whatever you're offering them? So it's that promise of an experience, whether that's something is easy to use, it's going to taste a certain way, it's going to perform a certain way, it's going to allow me as the consumer to do a certain thing. That's a promise that you're making, and so a brand certainly has to be something that's consistent, because again, if it's a promise, you don't want to break that promise to your consumer. So that's the best way I've heard it described. And so again, not just the tagline or the logo, but also what is that final end product or service that you're offering to the consumer? How do you want them to feel when they walk away from using your brand or interacting with your brand? Overall advice on starting or marketing a small business is, again, understanding who you're targeting and where those people are, and how kind of what's the size of the pie, as one of my professors used to say. Are you limiting yourself to a small pie in just your area, or do you have a product or a business that can apply to that larger pie, if you will, of the rest of Alaska? And that again will dictate what your tactics are, what your efforts are, what your cost is, whether you're going after just a small group of people or a larger audience. But if you go after a bigger pie, you've got a bigger return. You've got more pie to eat. So it's just kind of understanding what you need as a business to survive, and what you need, how many people you need to reach, and how many customers you need to have in order to sustain your business. Just to be prepared for failure, certain failures along the way. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to make mistakes in the world of picking your marketing strategy and deciding what tactics, and that's why the measurement is so important, and being able to use that information to just keep getting better. So there is some risk, and there is a little bit of failure that probably will come your way, but using the tools at your disposal, and again, that research piece and that measurement piece can really help you optimize what you're doing to just keep getting better and better and better. But I think overall, just having that solid vision mapped out for yourself at the beginning and understanding what you're getting yourself into in terms of, again, the market size. Is there a demand for your product? Are you going to be able to supply your product or service at the level that you need to? Understanding all of that up front will hopefully help you mitigate that risk a little bit.